So another welcome to Massa Marittima in Italy, and today we are riding another Canyon e-bike, but this one's rather special. So today they have launched the brand new Torque On. So this time things are very different, as you can see, and let's go and talk about it and do some riding. Okay, so there's a lot of interesting things going on here, and first of all, it's the first Torque On to ride. It's the first Torque On to come with a full carbon frame. As you can see, the linkage is entirely different, and I think it's boosted in travel. So at the front we've got 180mm of suspension. At the rear we've got 175. This is a big old thing as well. So this is a size large, and it comes with a 500mm reach. We've got 63.5 degree head tube angle, and I think that's a 77.5 degree seat tube angle. So Canyon has designed this bike to be basically a miniature downhill bike. So we're going to go up to the bike park, which is over there somewhere, and do some pretty serious riding on it. But yeah, let's talk about this frame a little bit. I think the most eye-catching thing we have to talk about here is that bowl. I mean, what's going on there? So if you know Canyon bikes, they have a thing where they want to make the center of gravity as low as possible. So they have the motor tilted upwards, the battery shifted down in the frame, and of course the shock's fairly low as well. We've got a low standover, but you know, there is no space in here for a water bottle, and they really wanted to offer one, so this is what they've done, and it's pretty smart. You know, maybe a bit Marmite if I'm going to be honest, but yeah, you just pop that out. It's pretty secure in there. It's an interesting looking bottle, and you know, you can run it without, but yeah, that's entirely up to you. Okay, what else can we talk about? So it's running the Shimano EP8 battery. I think there's a 720 watt-hour battery in here, but it can run up to 900. It's a mullet bike, and at the front we've got some proper rubber from Maxxis. So that's a Max Grip compound, that's an Assegai. At the rear we have a Minion DHR2 with Max Terra, and that is an Exo Plus casing, as is the front, which is pretty good. You know, I think on a bike like this you kind of expect double down, to be honest. We've got a long old dropper post. I couldn't tell you what the numbers are there, but it looks mental long. So yeah, let's go pedal this thing up and we'll see you in a bit. But yeah, so this is a long old bike park mini downhill bike. It's made to absolutely shred. Pedaling isn't too shabby. When you consider the travel that it's got. Of course it's an e-bike as well, so it's more than welcoming of just cranking up a hill. I mean, considering it's so wet, there's a fair bit of grip around. So straight away we're doing a load of rollers here. It's a pretty tame trail, but it's feeling quite a lot of support in that rear end, which, yeah, that's mega important, but it's tracking the ground super nicely. Whew. Which is the Enduro race bike, or Strive On, sorry. This gets a lower BB, which great for stability, also stability in the corners, and yeah, should have done that a bit quicker, but it felt good. Got a bit of an issue with that free hub, I think, gears are skipping. It picks up momentum quite a lot. So yeah, for this kind of trail, this bike is definitely overkill. This is like a lovely flow trail. Would have been good on the Euro that we did yesterday. It feels definitely a bit long in corners like that. It's quite hard to just muscle it around, but when it opens up, that stability really comes into play. It's pretty cool. Of course, this is a bit of a wet technical climb, so it'll be really interesting to see how this bike actually climbs when it really gets a bit tough. But you know, battery range on this is interesting. So we've done 1.5 ascents, dropped a bar of battery already, But then, you know, we've got the max grip tire in front, which is pretty draggy, especially as it's an Assegai as well. Yeah, just making these corners all right. The grip's not too bad, like, considering how wet it is, there is a fair bit of grip. Very easy replaces the battery, so it uses the same system as what we saw in the Spectral, where you just take off the cover, undo a couple of bolts and it slides out, and just do the rest, put it back in. We did it very quickly this morning because this was a little bit low. But yeah, that's good. So like if you're doing bike park days, like a bike park Wales or something, you can take 2 batteries and it's really easy to swap out. See, on those tighter corners, I kind of had to watch what I was doing a little bit there, maybe a bit here too. But you know, that steep seat shift angle keeps weight reasonably central. I mean, front centre is pretty lengthy compared to the rear, but it's not too bad really. I mean, it's quite a well balanced bike considering the kind of techie stuff we're doing here. I think if it got like particularly steep, it might be battling some like front end lift. But you know, it's still planted. There's a lot of grip on that rear tyre, mostly due to the fact that it's a fat tyre. It's about 2.6 inch I think. And the chainstay is a bit short. Again, I'll see if I can get the figure for you there. But yeah, surprisingly, there's no real issue up the hill. It's doing good. I've got it in trail mode as well, so okay, this might be fun. Yeah. Alright, second track is drawing out a bit more now. Hopefully, so I've gone a bit sooner, so if we can get some speed behind this bike, I think that's what this bike really wants. Oh, that's a bit slippy. Oh, gotta look where I'm going, come on. I definitely prefer to be opened up a little bit more. I like to go a bit quicker. That's where it really comes into its own. We got to work that suspension harder. Not to say that I'm going particularly quick. Yeah, super confident. So that bit was a little bit steeper. It's very welcoming of that kind of riding. Super slack head angle really comes into play there. Of course, that reach. So this kind of thing is where the torque kind of struggles a little bit because it is big and long. That's a lot of travel. So you are very much working the bike here. So taking a bit of energy. It's quite hard to figure out what's going on. Oh. So yeah, on that last trail, where it kind of like opened up with a bit of gully, a bit steep, that's where it was really good. This is quite nice too. I prefer if it wasn't so down wet though. So yeah, Shimano's trail mode is really coming into its own on this kind of thing where it's so up and down. This is fresh. Alright, so I just wanted to take, we're going down Scorpina again, and I wanted to show you this one because it's a really good example of how when you let this bike go quick, it really shines. But first, oh hello, let's go for the spec a little bit. So at the front we have Fox 38 factory, so it's proper blingy. At the rear it's the Fox X2 factory again. I come back to you with prices. We've got an ST drivetrain. And we've already spoken about the tyres, I think. So around this tight stuff, you definitely have to work the bike, muscle it around. So like if this is your usual riding, it's probably not the ideal bike. So yeah, this isn't really like, it's not an enduro bike, it's definitely for the bike park. Bigger trails, steep and fast, where it just supports you because of that long reach. A bit more, it's like, I guess for the kind of bike it is reasonably painful. There's a good bit of support on that mid-stroke, so you can push through it, kind of pump some features, push through some berms, get a bit there. Yeah, it's a pretty cool machine, but this is where it really shines, when you're just going through some weird stuff, but very quickly. Yes. Yeah. So yeah, the tighter corners are a bit weird. You know, you've got a lot of bite to get around them, so it takes more effort, a bit of forethought. But to be honest, you'll be fine. You've got that mullet wheel size, so a 650B wheel at the rear, which kind of gives the bike some manoeuvrability where you need it. Definitely isn't your average trail bike. It's not something that I would want to be riding all the time, unless I was living in Leger, doing this kind of stuff all the time. So yeah, if you're looking for a bike that's just absolutely winch and plummet, here you go, this is it. I mean, we don't go to Italy for the weather, do we? Anyway, yeah, that's time up with the Torque On, and yes, it's very cool. It's a very unique bit of kit. Obviously it's huge, it's big travel, big geometry, and it suits fast and steep incredibly well. I wouldn't say it's terribly versatile. So yeah, you want to be riding bike parks basically all of the time to make the absolute most of this bike. And I think the kind of riding we did today wasn't ideal to get the best kind of idea of where this bike is, like truly where it's most at home. But yeah, it's interesting, and yeah, if you ride bike parks all the time, this is the bike for you. Anyway, so that is the video. I've got to go and dry off and get all of this water out of my shoes and get a beer. So yeah, thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.